Hey, good morning. It's the middle of December. It's a Friday, a good day to be a currency trader. Lots going on in the world to make things interesting. And then we got holidays coming up for Christians. And I guess we've already had Hanukkah, or is it still going? And then what? Year end? Traders have to hit their bonuses or maybe protect their bonuses. Who knows? There's a lot of things that can influence the markets in the next 2 weeks, on top of things like macroeconomic data, geopolitical risk, all that kind of stuff. We also have human nature, so that's what makes it complicated. Let's go. Let me remind you that trading is risky, not appropriate for everyone. Past performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results. Please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term, and never risk money you cannot afford to lose. And thank you for subscribing to the Forex.Today YouTube channel. And as you know, when you do that, when I start these webinars, whether it's at 7:30 or 7:44, you will be alerted and brought directly in. By the way, my name is Wayne. It's nice to meet you. I'm the Chief FX Market Strategist for TradersWay.com. We're a boutique foreign exchange trading firm, aka broker, and we would like to execute your trades for you. And to entice you, we have competitive spreads, we have world-class customer service, and we have fast execution speeds. And then we provide you support and education through webinars like this. So it's a symbiotic relationship. If you succeed, you'll trade more, and the broker wins, right? Trader Way wins. But we want to help you succeed because it helps us. It's symbiotic. So it's actually a really wise and smart business model. So please join a wise and smart team. Visit TradersWay.com today. Okay. Everything's a conspiracy. Yeah. In regards to Bitcoin. It's funny, apparently two Harvard graduates, I don't know what school they were, I think business school. They were on crew, they were rowers. And then they started a company called Rowing Blazers. So I'm having a rowing blazer custom made and everything, all stitched. I picked out everything. It's beautiful. There's even stitching here, so when I shake your hand, I think it says "fuck Yale" on it. But anyways, I can't remember if I went with that or not. But anyways, apparently they bought Bitcoin at like 10 cents. They bought enough where they're now filthy, stinking rich, and I think that's interesting. So that's cool. So Pharaoh, you have a $50 billion friend? Cool. I like your friends, bro. All right, so let's get going. As you know, yesterday was a ginormous waiting game, but you know what? That's what trade planning is, and trade planning is by theory, half of it, if not most of it, is to protect you. Going all the way back, what is this, 3 weeks now? Week 1, week 2, now week 3, we've been holding steady at our line in the sand, which tells us just relax, bro. Don't force it. Just let it happen. Take a deep breath. Is that right, Pharaoh? Cool. Well, you and me and your friend's friend and your friend's friend's friend, we should all get together for dinner. Talk about how to spend his $50 billion for him. Right? When you're an entrepreneur, what you do is you find someone with $50 billion and then you find a way to help them. That's the best way to start a business. Get involved. Thing is, you got that kind of money, you got a lot of problems, and you're probably disappointed with somebody on your staff. So anyways, you see this? Just hanging, right? Just hanging here. Don't force it. Don't get frustrated. Remember we were talking about this, I think it might have been early in this move. I can't remember how early. But remember the conversation where I'm like, don't get frustrated with it. Don't get frustrated in August. Don't get frustrated in you know, whatever. Just do the work. Sure. Well, I have oil in my blood. I have family members that have been in the oil business their entire lives, like from they started working in the oil fields in Canada when they were like 16. And now they're very old men. What do you mean don't get frustrated? Okay, yeah, let's go into that because it's sort of a harder thing to quantify, or I guess you can't quantify, I feel, but I think a lot of people when they're trying to make oil go up or trying to make oil go down and it doesn't do it, they get angry or disappointed emotionally. And then intellectually, the brain, to survive this trauma, because it's a form of trauma, associates blame with it. Things like, my strategy doesn't work, or I'm a terrible trader. Like I said, Pharaoh, let's get together. Let's have din-din. Steak, never killed anybody. Okay, so anyways, what you should focus on instead is what is the trade plan? What is the next trade plan? And really, it's elevating yourself to a higher level. It's sort of like Siddhartha finding enlightenment and becoming Buddha, right? You need to think on a higher level, or not even think, just be at a higher level. In this case, you're just reminding yourself what is the plan, and if that plan fails, what's the next plan, and that's it. And you don't get frustrated. Okay, so like I'm not surprised this is consolidated, but I'm surprised this is consolidated for 3 weeks. Okay. Okay. OPEC and stuff should have blown this out. So there's something else going on, and we need to recognize that there's something else going on, and maybe we're privy to it, maybe we're not. Maybe I'm missing something, maybe I'm not. But whatever. I'm not even going to mark that. Like we've been saying, let it break and then decide what to do. We don't know if it's going to break to the downside. We don't know if it's going to break to the upside. Doesn't matter. Let it break, and then we'll deal with it then. There's always a next plan, right? You don't have to be on every plan. So, what I hope it doesn't do is this, right? But even if it does break to the downside, this could be actually where we trade. Okay? If you're a bull, you keep buying these dips, but even then it's frustrating because you're not getting the price you want. Okay? So just keep an eye on it. Move on to something that seems more appealing. Yeah. Well, it's amazing though, hey Chuck? Like I said before, I'm not surprised it's consolidated at that price. I'm just surprised it's consolidated for that long. All right. So anyways, as you can see here, that hasn't held, and it's not surprising because really the support is more like this, okay, and this. So that was, this first one is if you were aggressive, and it looks like the market was not that aggressive. It could be a 382. It could be a 618, something in the middle. You know, looking at the support and resistance, I'd prefer to bounce more like 50%. So even though it's fallen maybe not quite enough. But notice just the general trade plan. Okay, remember, you're avoiding frustration here. Up, down, up is basically it. And you have been forewarned that this is a reasonable get out and take the rest of the month off price, right? Right? This is a reasonable take the rest of December off and spend time with your family price. Whether you took that or not, it's up to you. You may not have, because of this entry price tells you R2, and this is only M4. So you're like, Wayne, there's another, dollar on the table. Well, it depends on how much you need that dollar, right? So it looks like what I think will happen is more of this plan A than plan B, but even plan B is valid. And that gets you down there, okay? But notice even in that scenario, this was the right place to take profit. If you didn't take the month off, that's fine. But buying the next dip might get you, $8. Okay. Now, maybe one other thing to point out in the theme. You see how critical it is to swing trade? To be at the right place at the right time? And how all your money was made from December 1st to December 7th? It's a big deal, I think. So one last thing on this. If you're a bear, you would have sold this because of the monthly M4 is a take profit zone, but it's also a weekly M3, which is your sell zone. So you have a take profit zone overlapping a sell zone. So your hoping actually comes way down to here. And if that's true, then it's going to do this in January. I'm sorry, Roger, I don't trade silver, so I apologize for that. It's not, I don't have any alpha on it. I mean, I could do the technical analysis, but I don't think you need me to do the technical analysis. It's just something I don't think I've ever traded it. Now, when David Pegler worked for me, he took a lot of interest in silver. Okay, but not I, my friend, not I. So I apologize. I don't want to give you information that I'm not, competent in. Anyways, so you roll the die a week ago and you say you want to be a bear on euro dollar. Okay. This was the sell zone that week. Not perfect. This was the sell zone that week. This was the sell zone that week. This was the sell zone that week. This was, day. Not perfect. Sure, Ross. Nitin, by the way, wonderful palindrome. I don't know what I looked at. Probably 4 hour. Okay. Oh, Targos is 1 hour. Okay, that was 1 hour. Sorry. Yes. Yes. Was it TJ? TJ, yeah. I'm special, so right? Where does he get those wonderful toys? So anyways, I'm just trying to point this out. It's only interesting if you happen to be a bear. This is an R1. I don't typically sell R1s, but you can see R1s still can act as resistance. But they're not really my sell zones, but they can come to play on a daily, right? Especially if there's an overlap on other time frames and stuff. But the other thing is, look at the price action. Lower low, right? What have I taught you? Right? Lower low, pachow. Drag the low this time. Now, this one, again, is not perfect. It's a guide. What you're thinking is this. But the real process is somewhere around here is what you're thinking. You don't want distance A to B, let's say, to be more than really 618, but certainly not more than 786. Okay, if it goes 786 to 100, so it goes, let's say, all the way to here, back to this gray zone, it's going to pachow this way. It's a reversal, not a retracement. Yeah, so anyway, so Nitin says gold will fall further, then good. See, I love that. Now, I'm sure there has to be a reason for it, but if Nitin has a purpose or a plan behind gold falling further, then things get really easy. You start looking for, you use technical analysis to define your entries. Remember, a lot of you guys are still using technical analysis to define your strategy versus using technical analysis to enter your trades. And if you use technical analysis as the basis of your strategy, probably the vast majority of the tools you're using are lagging, which means you're probably going to get 3 right in a row, and the 4th and maybe even the 5th one are wrong. And so you can hope for small profits or break even. That's not much of a, right? But if you were looking to sell, for example, I don't know when this was, but you see, like, you'd say that's an kickoff R1, lower low, lower high, so this is a great sell. This is an obvious sell, roll reversal right at the M3. That's a great one. Look at the target. Like, go back to this. Like, some people are wondering, like, do traders use pivot points? This is euro dollar. For some reason, there's no watermark here. So it's euro dollar. I think it looks like a 1H. Yeah, H1. Okay. Daily pivots. This is the setup. Okay. Teach you how to day trade. Okay. Now the textbook, right? The textbook says if you sell at this price, M3, the target is this price, M1. Now you tell me, is that a heck of a coincidence? It's a random walk, right? There's no way you can predict the moves in the foreign exchange market, so that's just an amazing coincidence, right? Or maybe lots of people are using pivot points. Now this isn't the world's greatest entry, but notice it's a reversal, so people have to get out. But once they're in, the target is here. Isn't that great? And then the next day, this is the entry, there's the target. Boom, ciao. Okay. Bulls were trying to enter this area, which is a buy zone, and their target was here. But bulls, you can see it's a bearish market still. So now what? This low is lower than that, or that high is lower than that high, so it's a sell zone. A lot of volatility associated with it. Here's today's sell zone. Okay, and off we go. Now, there's a lot going on here, right? All the geopolitical stuff and all the economic data and year end. You know, is there, let's say, a way to predict that it's going to do this? Is there a way to predict that it's going to do this? You know, and I suppose I'm supposed to tell you yes. And we could probably debate that, although you got to be careful. I'm a master debater. I think overall, there are levels of predictability, but it's simply you're entering your trades where you're supposed to, and it either works or it don't. And on the long run, when you're talking about like the next 1,000 trades you get, you'll do best entering trades where you're supposed to, sticking with a bias. Like you could be a bull here, you can 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 be a bull here, right? None of this is really working out, but you're still making money. But when the market does turn your way, you make even more money. Versus, you know, today you're thinking about maybe buying, or like, Wayne, how would I know, Wayne, that this was going to fall? How would I know that I should be a bear today? Well, you wouldn't. Right? You simply wouldn't. But if you were a bear yesterday, this was a sell zone. Okay? If you're this was a sell zone then, at least you know, like, you're selling high, right? This is a sell zone there, this is a sell zone there, this was probably a sell zone here, you know, so on and so forth. And it's your consistency, I think, over time. But how do you become consistent? How do you have, first of all, you know, in the book I talk about having control, right? And you cannot be consistent unless you have control over your behavior. You cannot control the market, but you can control your behavior. You can't control that this is going to drop like a ton of bricks today, or, you know, take off like a rocket. You can't control that, and most of the time you don't even know it. But you can control your behavior and therefore become consistent. Now, how does control become to consistency? Well, your control is to manipulate your behavior so that you're trading with your plan, your bias. Okay, Delbear. You see what I mean? But if you're consistently a bear on this, right, then you're in. Or if you're consistently a bull, let's do it the other way, right? If you're consistently a bull, right, that was an entry, that was an entry, that was an entry, that was an entry, and you don't have an entry today, really. I mean, you could have maybe bought it here and it collapsed on you. So be it. That's why they invented stop losses, right? And you're like, this only worked a little bit, this only worked a little bit, this only worked, well, the whole entire day, this only worked a little bit, and then this didn't work at all. Okay? And all I was is consistent. And the thing that determines whether I make money or not is not even necessarily me. Okay, you see what I mean? It's only if the market giveth or the market taketh away. You're more of a farmer here than a hunter. Okay? Okay? That's just random. I'm just trying to incorporate smaller time frames for you guys. Okay? Slow as molasses. 17 pips in London. 17 pips in London. Really? Wow, what an amazing opportunity. But I just want to use this as a great opportunity to remind you of technical analysis. Double bottom might be a reversal, right? Higher high probably is a reversal. Bye, bye, bye. Bye, bye, bye. And you see I have a gray zone already here. I did it for you 3 days ago. If the trend continues, it needs to giddy up. Okay. And then now you just wait. Yeah, retail sales. Yeah, we got that later. Yeah, well, again, the thing that needs to be recognized, and this is not an easy thing, is when you catch a trend and you're making money, it becomes difficult to know this part. Okay? And I've been in that situation that Brooke's probably been in, when you're trying to stay in the trade all the way to the end of the year, and the market doesn't give you that. Some years it does, some years it doesn't. And I've explained stories where, at Thanksgiving time, I'm carving the turkey, and I can barely even see the turkey. I'm so consumed by what's going on in my office and the trading and the money and the pips that I can barely cut through the turkey, and people are like talking, and all I hear is wah, 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 wah. And I got my mind on my charts because things were crashing or whatever it was. Things were going really bad for me. And it's a scary time. And Thanksgiving traditionally has been a time where, you can make money from August, and then it goes to Thanksgiving, and then it does like this massive profit taking. But then sometimes it goes, and then it goes up to December, right? And you end the year high. And I try to be clear every year. I don't know which or either of these will happen. And it's really hard, especially for a newer trader, to know when to walk away and lock in the profit and then rebuild. But I told you also, there are times when I'm up, like, let's say I have 50 trades open. And then one day I walk in and then they're all gone. It's a terrible feeling to be naked again, so to speak, as far as not having any positions open, because it takes so long to build a portfolio. It takes months to build a portfolio. And if there's one like massive event in the market and it just kills everything, you get knocked out of all your trades, it's a horrible feeling, because now it takes 3 or 4 months to build these, right? So I know Delbert, who was it that was having the big pullback again? I forgot, was it Delbert? Anyways, Brooke, right? I know that feeling, but it's part of the experience. So this next year, Board Gaming, welcome to the family. This year or next year, or 5 years from now, or 15 years from now, Brooke's experience this year will be helpful, right? So the thing is that where you got to get good is recognizing when it's happened, but also learning how to get back in. Because I know there's another part of human nature where you walk away completely, right? Hoodoo says trading patterns. Yeah, well, yeah. Okay. Right? So anyways, getting back in is also a very difficult thing. And that's where, like I was saying before, you can't get frustrated. It's just the market, right? Right, Philip, right? But it's just the market. So, but Philip, like, it sounds easy, like, just get back in by the next dip. But, like, if you held on to all this and then lost all your profits, it's funny what goes on here mentally. It starts doing this again, and you stop buying it. And, of course, the worst traders start selling after they were long here. Then they didn't manage their risk here, so then so now they have no money again. And then they decided because of this down move, they're going to be a bear because they don't have a strategy. They're just thinking whatever. And then they start losing money here. And then, you know, you go back to Bitcoin or something. And that would be tragic. Yeah, Nick, and it's true. But another thing, like Nick says, you know, the day you walked away would have been the day you would have made all your profits. But the interesting thing about the amateur trading mind, and I'm putting myself in there too, when you trade, right, you know, for example, back in the day when I first started, I'd see this, so I'd sell, 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 walk away broke, pa-chow. So then I'd sell, 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 walk away broke, pa-chow, right? And then you stop trading, and then you see things like, oh, I would have caught that double bottom. Oh, I would have caught that pullback. Oh, and every trade that you don't make is profitable. And every trade you do make loses money. And it's a weird part of the brain, like, right? Like the trades you don't make are always profitable. Happy Friday to you, Ian. Yes, scaling in against the trend. Well, but I didn't realize at the time. See, I was learning as I went along, right? And I think maybe that's where I got into Fibonacci because very early in my career, I remember these moves. And even the smaller time frame ones, like the ones in the 5-minute, forget the 15-minute, these 5-minute pullbacks. And what I ended up doing inadvertently was inventing Fibonacci. Because I would see this, and then I would remember when I first started, I would sell, 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 sell. And I hated these pullbacks so much that I started looking for selling the more significant pullbacks. Okay? And it turns out it was Fibonacci. Okay? Took me a while to get to that, but imagine you never heard of Fibonacci. Imagine you didn't even know what a moving average was. That's where I came from. Well, okay, yeah, the first thing is, Reynolds says he's taken some FX Bootcamp videos and they're awesome, right? How do you become a full-time trader? Well, that's what FX Bootcamp is going to help you become as a professional. So we're reorganizing the site so that, let's say you start by watching 25 hours of like strategy, tactics, and fundamental videos, right? And then we're going to add probably, well, it's a 6-day performance analysis. And that focuses not just on your ability to carry out tacticals and strategies, stuff like setting up trades, but also it starts to identify trader psychology stuff, things like confidence, things like discipline, right? And then after that, a bunch of one-on-ones with a coach, all while you're in a live trading room. By the way, I didn't set up Reynolds for this. So live trading room, which is going to focus on day trading twice a day and weekly swing trading. So when you add like the education and the performance, one-on-one performance coaching and trader psychology stuff, and implementing live swing and day trading strategies, then what that does is after you can get a track record together, then you can move over to another thing that I run called MetaTraders, which will then get you into trading other people's money and developing your track record. Okay. Yeah, Joe is right. Joe says, in Joe's opinion, never approach FX as a hobby. Yeah, and I've always agreed with that, right? This idea that someone says, oh, well, I'm going to pop, $5,000 into a trading account, and if I blow up that account, then I'll quit and go take an options course, right? or something, right? Well, just the attitude of like, oh, I'm going to pop $5,000 into an account, and if it blows up, I move. I go on to something else. Well, you've already intellectually, you've already failed. Right? You know what I mean? Because you probably will, as Joe says, if you treat it like a hobby, you probably will fail. You probably will lose the $5,000 because you've already justified it. You're like, yeah, that's what I thought. I'd lose the $5,000. That's what I thought. So it's not embarrassing to you. It's not hurtful to you. It's not whatever. You're totally cool with it. You kind of figured you'd lose it anyways. Most retail traders lose their money, so, no harm, no foul. I'll go on to the next thing. That's exactly the failure attitude. Right? You lose more than 1% of your trading account today, you sleep in the bathtub. You lose 5%, you cut your finger off. Right? So anyways, let's move on. Okay, stuck in the range. Okay, these are weekly and monthly pivots, clustered. Right, and that's how it should be, right, Bill? Yeah, I'm out of the, move on to. Well, do like what the King of France would have done at one point. You just get a whipping boy to come in and cut their fingers off. The king is like, this is going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you. And they're like, no, I think it's going to hurt me worse. That's good, NP. Very good. Congratulations. That's not a crazy return, so that's nice. Yeah, see, that's not big enough, crypto. Get two 34s? No, I don't know. I can't decide. 350s. Originally, I was going to do 343s. And then, it's not quite wide enough. So then 350s, but then they seem a little too tall. And the funny thing is you get there, there's no difference in price between a 50-inch and a 55-inch. So then, why wouldn't I just get a 55-inch? But then they're so dang tall. And also bigger isn't better. What you would need then is a 6K or an 8K. But they don't really make those. So, you're back to a 4K. I'm thinking even a 50-inch might be too big, but I might go with the 50s. Greg, do you have them stacked landscape, one on top of the other? Or do you have landscape side to side? I don't think you have portraits, right? But see, landscape side to side, then you got the two bezels in your face. Yeah, thank you, Adam. And in the email and stuff as well. But yeah, thank you guys. If you would please give a like or something. Maybe I got too far off track. I'm answering your questions. is what it is. But I'll try to move more quickly. I think you guys are hungry, but please share a like, huh? You have a shaped desk and a... Oh, that's weird. That's a little strange. Huh. Yeah, I get it. I use 2 curve 34s, perfect. Yeah, it's just, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's fine. 2 34s though, like that's less than this one's monitor, right? I like the height, and like, so I think at one time I measured it, like, I think this is rough. I think a 50-inch portrait goes to about here. And I don't really want to go higher than that, but then the 50-inch is only about that wide. So I'd have 150, 150, and a third 50. And that might work. I don't think it's quite as wide. It's a little taller. But the nice thing is when you're sitting, there's no bezel in your face. Oh, thanks for subbing. Thanks for the subscription. 640s? Yeah. But are they 4K or 1080? I would assume 1080, because if you start doing 6 4Ks, then it gets a lot more difficult. So in that case, you got big monitors with low res, and that's not, yeah, see, and so like for example, this is a 22 at 1080. So you're saying you got one that's twice as big, but it's the same amount of chart. So you don't have any more real estate. You see what I mean? I mean, it's helpful if you want to sit back further from your charts, or if you need glasses or something, right? But a 40-inch 1080, it just, now you're just taking up space and heating up your room, but you don't have any more real estate for your charts, right? Right. So like as Reynolds says, GPU might not be able to handle 6 4Ks, which is true. So that is an issue. But I can do 3 4Ks. Actually, I think I looked it up. I can do 3 4Ks and 1 8K, but I don't have an 8K screen. I don't even know where to get one, nor would I need one. And I don't need 4 because, again, then if you set it up like 2 here, well, then it's way too big and too high, and then you got the bezel in your face. So what are you going to do, like 3 and 1? 3, all of a sudden, like 4 doesn't work for me, right? So I go back to the 350s portrait. But then here's the thing, then I start looking at the screens, and they don't mount onto an array. So now I got to take my $3,000 array, get rid of that. And now I have to mount these 50s onto the wall, which then brings up different issues like viewing angles and stuff like that get weird because now they're flat, not curved. So I don't know if you can tell, but my desk, they're flared. So I got the 75-inch here, and then these are flared out. The 1080s are flared out on probably a 12 degree, and then flared out on a 12 degree. And then I used to have the top row back when I had 18 screens. The top row tilted, so they were all I had 4 in front of me, flat. The far twos on 12 degrees, and then the whole top row tilted forward, right, like a cocoon. But then I got like this crazy computer, and I have like $1,000 in cables. Like cables. They're nice cables. But, like, really? Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's only money, right? I mean, even this is the pretty disappointing, huh? Okay. So dollar strength. So we're blown through the dailies, right? So you got to go back to like this is why I do it this way with you guys in these webinars. In the webinars, I use exclusively weekly and monthly pivots because like the daily trade plan is done. Yeah, Crypto says hell of a graphic setup to that. Well, he probably has multiple computers. Well, I'd say absolutely, totally, 100% he has multiple computers. But I have like I had my entire office wired specifically for my screens. You know, most people don't spend, you know, $5,000 having your whole office wired for your screens and then go to your actual power box and have your own data switches and stuff, and then soundproof your office, right? So and the interesting thing is this is all run on one PC. Okay, so anyways, what we're getting to here is we're approaching the end. Okay. Closer you get to 1250, the more likely it's over. Did it, did it, did it, did it. Did it, did it, did it, did it, did it. Amazing random walk, huh? It's amazing how so many people will just argue the validity of pivots. And I'll say, really? Like, this is just random, this line here, huh? And this line here is just random. Meaningless statistic that just happens to look important. You're like, really? Because that looks very accurate. So when I remind myself of that, then I say, well, whoever saw those lines, see this line. In fact, it's a cluster of lines. Okay, it's a weekly, and it's a monthly. So I would just have to assume they're going to pay attention to that, right? And that this is going to turn green. Now, we don't know if it means up. It just means profit taking. Right, so Chuck says he doesn't think the retail sales will change anything, right? And I would agree with that. So you have to always remind yourself, what is your fundamental bias? What is it that you do? The more you get caught up in only, like I'm not saying you can't, but the more you get caught up in only trading these situations, and especially now, like if you're trying to wait for a pullback and then you're going to Like, you could, it's just not the right strategy to be doing as a trader. What would be better is you say to yourself, well, I'm a bull, right? And the data wasn't favorable. However, you're still a bull. You're like, it's bad, I don't like it, but there's a lot of other things going on in the economy too that still point to bullishness, and maybe it's just sort of a one-off or whatever, right? So then you say, because you're still a bull, you've analyzed the retail sales data, and you're like, you know what, I'm still a bull, so what is it that I'm doing? I'm buying at support. Where's support? I just outlined it for you. Now, you prefer to be trading situations like this, however, where you're making higher highs and higher lows, not buying, not catching a falling chainsaw. Okay? But you need to stay with the plan. Right, Chuck? And if you've ever known, like, playing an athletic sport, like a team sport, soccer, baseball, hockey, football, whatever, sticking with the plan and playing with the team is 10,000 times more important than the talent of the players. All right, Godfrey. Okay, this is where bears are going to try to sell. We already know that that's where the bulls are going to buy. I said it twice. So, but now a bear is going to try this, right? A bull's still going to try to get something like that out of it, right? So this is a bear's scalping. It's pretty simple. You take the left, you drag it to the right. So by the way, the chart template, the download is in the YouTube stream. And next week, I'm going to invite people that have downloaded that. I'm going to email you an invitation to join the day trading and swing trading group. It's all one group now. So if you're interested in that, go through the download link. That's all I'm going to say about that. And that is London and New York, by the way. The risk-reward ratio of a scalp is pretty minimal. So, oh, you're opening a Trader's Way account? Well, thank you. We appreciate you joining the family. So we're just stuck in here, stuck on a 1 minute chart. Bulls are buying here, bears are selling there. Someone's going to win. You see how doing things late is not helpful? Because now, if you're doing something now, bulls are thinking, bears are, anyways. The support's here. Look how accurate it is. Beautiful stuff. So which one are you? You have to ask yourself. The next thing is there's a follow-on, right? Like if you're a bull, for example, a follow-on would be something like this or something like this. And as a bear, it's going to be, well, that's less likely for a bear. So really, it'll be more like this for a bear. A failure here is not really a good plan for bears. They don't want to see this. They'll back out. So really, bears have to take it down to support here, or the bulls are going to win. Okay, but remember, and I told you this before, this whole area here is massive support. Okay, beautiful, right? Look at that, how casual we are. Yeah, this is where the bears are going to sell. Oh, nice. So this is the big learning experience now. What happens in this area is the big learn. Bears are going to win? Yeah, well, we had disappointing news, right? So that is most plausible. But the thing beyond just like that analysis of was the news good or was the news bad, this is the weekly target. This is a monthly pivot. So this whole area is support. So no matter what, how bearish it is, whoever sold here, and more importantly, sold earlier in the day because they assumed the news was going to be disappointing, they're still targeting this. So it's not like bulls are going to buy it there. It's that bears are going to take profit. They're going to get out. And you can see it here. I'm doing this almost second by second, telling you where it's going to bounce, right? So here's the big bounce area, the big learning. So now we know bulls are still in here. Bears were supposed to get out here. But what's going to happen now? Think about it now. If you're a bear, some bears are going to start freaking out, right? They're worried that this is going to happen. So people are going to start jamming their stops, right? Which means if bulls can take it high enough, they're going to start hitting stops. Well, if you're a bear and you have a stop and your stop is triggered, the way that what happens is your broker enters a buy position to offset your sell position. So by hitting stops, the bulls are actually adding to their positions, so to speak, and like not really because of the offset, but they're hitting buy orders, and buy orders hit the market, even though they're stopping people out. It's not sell orders. Oh, right on, Carlos. Carlito. Okay, so just be careful. Okay, be careful. Okay. So as a bull, these are the two things I would look for, but remind yourself up until this point, it is not bullish. Okay. And typically you don't counter trend trade on a Friday, right? No, volume does not help. No. Oh, Saeed's missed the entry. So Saeed, when I said that this is where bears are going to sell, that might have been relevant information to you. I even drew the line and everything as we came in. The line comes from here. So it's a very, 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 very basic scalp. Very basic. This is simple price action. Okay. So maybe visit FX Bootcamp, take the swing trading, the price action course. But all of this is basic, right? Basic. Down, 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 up, up, sell. Down, 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 up, up, sell. Down, 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 down. So that's basic price action. But I'm taking you further into this trade by telling you, even though all of that is beautiful and nicely played, we're going to get down to here and it's going to stop. Okay? It's going to stop. In fact, I'll be more accurate. It's going to stop here. So you will see it come down, and then it's going to go bop, bop, bop. Okay? So this makes sense to me. This makes sense to me. That makes sense. That makes sense. What I don't think is it goes lower. I don't think so. Not today. It can, of course, but I don't think so. Okay. So we're a couple of pips away from the bounce, but might as well get ready for it. Okay. Now a bull, your line is here now, so wouldn't it be interesting if you can get something like that? I think it's going to dip a little further and then pop up. So start drawing your lines in the sand. What would you consider like a breach? So like you can do this now and say a drop to here and then a breach of that, and then this becomes support in the future. Okay. So again, it's going to touch this line. It's going to go up. It's going to come down, and you end up being a buyer. Okay. Bear's already set. You already sold way back there. Okay. This is just scalping, guys. Well, awesome channel. If I'm helping you make thousands, maybe you should contribute to my cigar and wine fund. Moment of truth. Then I think we'll go. Did you any thumbs up and likes and subs? Thank you, Roger. Norez, Carlitos, Colgam, thank you guys for subscribing. Appreciate it. Welcome to the family. Thank you. It is appreciated. It's important to YouTube, but I also take it as feedback. Thank you, Chizzy. Okay, I'm trying to give it enough time. We'll give it a few more minutes, maybe 5 more candles. I'm gonna stop it right here. You are not allowed to cross that red line, but not an Obama red line either. Oh, it's gonna turn green. Up, up. It's gonna turn green. Okay, remember you got to get above this zone here. Let me kill that other, where is it? How far back is this one? I'm going to kill this one because this was just the whole zone earlier. And I think that's better. Let's go back to the 1 minute. Even that's not accurate enough. Good. Go back to the 1 minute. Okay. There we go. That line is the monthly. This line is the weekly. Average it out. That's our bottom for the day. So now it's going to go up, down, up. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Well, be careful about buying. I mean, you can, but this is a downtrend. Okay, so if you're buying here, let's put this into context. Okay, I mean, you could be scalping it, but let's really put this in the context. Some smart people, okay, some smart people days ago, and by smart, I mean they knew how to swing trade. So this was, you didn't know the spike was coming. Oops. But on Monday morning, or if you front ran it on Friday, there is a very clear sell here. Very clear. If you were a bear, especially in the first 4 hours, you probably sold this around this price. You didn't know it was going to do this, but you're probably sleeping, and then you wake up in the morning, you're down here, and you're like, oh, thank God. Whatever. But as you know, when you sell here, your stop's at the R, so you're fine. So they sold it Sunday afternoon at 5 p.m. And their target when they sold here was this line that we're talking about, right there. I swear to you that that's what a bear does. That's a bear swing trade. That's just, it's straightforward. You just have to be a bear. But if you're a bear, you would have sold it here, like not even that big circle, because you didn't know that what do you call this? An evening star? You didn't know that that was going to form. The market opened and you were here, so you sold it. And you wouldn't have done it on a 4 hour. You would have done it on a 15-minute chart. So you sold it here and you went to bed because it doesn't take much time. But at that time, you said to yourself, or not even said to yourself, you put your take profit order here. So what's actually happening if you're buying this on a scalp? You're offsetting this person because, they have to take profit, right? So you're buying their position back from them. You're a liquidity event. You're simply transferring risk away. Well, they're transferring the risk to you, but you're on the other side. But whatever they're taking, they just made 200 pips. And they're down here and they're like, oh my God, this thing's dropping like a ton of bricks. I hope I can find someone dumb enough to buy it from me. And sure enough, someone comes along and says, oh, I'll buy that from you. And they're like, oh, thank goodness. I'll be praised. Great. Thank God. And now money is transferred to their account and they transfer the position to you and everybody's happy. Except you're in it for 12 pips and they are in it for 200 pips. You see what I mean? So you got to be cognitive of what's going on here, and this is why I say you need to know more about trading than staring at these small time candles. There's much more important things going on, and that's what I tend to focus on in our daily webinars. I'm not looking at daily pivots and 1 minute candles. I mean, they're fun most of the time, though. Nothing. Not enough happens for it to be interesting, right? But the way that you're going to make money trading Forex is this stuff. So anyone that's taken the swing trading course knows that if you hit this on Monday or Tuesday, if you hit this target, it counter trends back to the central pivot. I am not backfilling to sound smart. That's in the training course. That if you sold here, it's coming down here. And if you hit that on a Tuesday, it's going to go here. And then, well, we don't really know, but you want to trade in the direction of the trend. So whoever shorted it again, go here. But now you're at the cluster of S2 and M2. So you should take profit. And what happens after this? Like, let's say this goes lower. Doesn't even matter. Doesn't matter. Irrelevant. Because now it's less likely. Okay? And now we're running into year-end problems and all this kind of stuff. It's a Friday. I think a lot of people, guys, are going to stop trading today and then disappear for the rest of the year. So keep that in mind as well as a potential risk. You see what I mean? Awesome channel. If you got money, right, send me an email. Wayne at fxbootcamp.com. So anyways, I invite everyone to download my chart template so that you have these pivot points and these indicators and all the same tools that I use. And I'll also send you an invitation to the new group next week. I have to go now. I have to meet with my swing trading group to set up trades for next week. Wouldn't that be nice? So swing traders, I'll see you over in the swing trading room. The music will be playing. The coffee will be fresh. We'll have some nice donuts. We'll start planning our trades. And everyone else, have a wonderful weekend. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're learning. I hope you subscribe. I hope you visit tradersway.com and open an account. And I will see you on Monday. Thank you. And thank you for the little thumbs up, likey things. They're important, so please spend a half a second and do that, huh? Take care.